Hi, everybody. It has been a crazy day. This is Karen Sullivan with lifehealthmore.net, and I apologize for being a little behind the eight ball here. It just really has been a very busy day, backed up traffic, more traffic than I usually experience. So let me tell you about what our show is on today. We are talking about water. The entire month of May has been Food Month, and water is considered, it should be, one of the essential nutrients. Okay, so you really should. That's why it's important. That's why it's had its own show. Okay, we're talking about water. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My dog is sniffing over here. I'm like, okay, that's what puppies do. I'm Karen Sullivan. I am a personal trainer, a fitness instructor, a life coach, and I've worked with people for the last 24, 25 more years. And my experience started even before then when I did competitive bodybuilding and powerlifting on an amateur level, but was lifting back in the day. And so my work started with being interested in helping people with just getting shape. And let's be a personal trainer. And it has evolved into where it is a deep, deep passion of mine to help people become the very best version of themselves. And when 2018 rolled around, I kind of had this feeling that this is really a special year. This is a year when I can reach more people, help more people, and allow them to learn the secrets that I have learned over all this time about how they can personally design their own program. I'm an affiliate with Shaklee Corporation and am an independent distributor. And I have been involved with that company since the 70s. And as a kid in the 60s, I was a Shaklee kid. So I have integrated all of that together to help folks and to be the best you can. Okay, so that's where I come from. You can learn more at lifehealthmore.net, and I hope that you do jump on the bandwagon there and see some of my shows also on YouTube. So all of that little advertising out of the way and sort of an explanation of you understanding why I do this. I don't do this just because I want to get personal training clients, just because I want to sell Shaklee products. I do indeed. More importantly, I'd like to help people come along for the ride with me and develop their own programs and develop their own businesses so that they can be stay-at-home moms and be their own boss. So that kind of a thing, that's sort of all coming together for me, and I'm super duper excited about it. So let's talk about water. Now, every cell in the body uses water. Did you know that? It helps to regulate temperature in your body. It helps to maintain the functions, like in the digestive tract. Doesn't work well unless it has water in it. It has to have the fluid in it, okay? And I'm not talking about only through, well, certainly it's not through drinking teas and coffees. That is fluid, but it's not the same as having that clean water. I once had someone say to me, would you wash your clothes in the washing machine in coffee and tea and soda? And I was like, I guess not, if I could figure out how to get the soda into the machine or the coffee. But that's the same thing. This washes and cleanses the body. Now, we lose water on a regular basis. Even, I know it's going to the bathroom, okay, and those private parts that we use, and that is part of life. But we also, in our breath, we're losing water. In our skin, when we're sweating. When I first started in this business, I was working with swimmers back in Williamsburg. I know you've heard me talk about this before. Well, the thing that was really difficult to get the kids to understand was that they could be dehydrated if they didn't drink, because even though they were in water. Well, you don't absorb it by osmosis. You have to still ingest water, and we couldn't get them to understand how important it is. Now, it is like an essential mineral vitamin. It's an essential element of the body, okay? 50 to 70% of your body weight is water. Now, would you maybe imagine that you could lose weight by just not drinking? The answer is no. Really, really bad idea. And the reason why it's a bad idea is because flat out, the body cannot function without water. You get dazed and confused. Dehydration causes wrinkled skin. If you don't like looking old, don't let yourself become dehydrated. There is a real concern about health and if you do not have enough water in your body, okay? So in order to understand how bad it is to be without water, let's look at the health benefits of having water in your system, okay? I did some research on this, and something that really irritates me is when you see stories and articles and quote unquote research where people say that the benefit is weight loss. And sure as shooting, it's at the top of the list in several of the sources that I checked online, that a benefit of drinking a lot of weight is that you're going to lose weight. Or drinking a lot of water is you're going to lose weight. Well, I just want to say, it just really frustrates me. According to this article, you can save yourself 205 calories for every glass of water you drink. I'd have to say, perhaps it's more of an issue that your body will begin working correctly and you'll start losing weight because all the systems, everything's working and flowing and everything. But don't drink water because you want to lose weight. The other thing was that if you drink water before a meal, you've heard this before, drink water before a meal, then you're kind of full and you won't eat as much. Please don't use that as a reason to drink water. But rather, let's look at the fact that with the water in the system, you'll be able to go to the bathroom better. You'll be able to perform better. Your muscles need water in them. Okay, so you have to do performance athletes or not, regular people. You're working in the garden in this time of year, then you just have to have enough water in your system. Okay, have you ever had a massage and the masseuse says to you afterward, make sure you drink a lot of water, make sure you drink a lot of water, that it's supposed to break down the toxins they've broken down in your body. It will help to eliminate them and get them out of your system. Well, it helps the kidneys. Kidneys are very important. They have to work right. And they only work when there's water in your body to allow it to function and do its thing. And the water passes through the kidneys into the bladder and out of the body. But kidneys don't work unless there's water in the body. Without your kidneys, there's a whole lot of problems because they're filtration between the kidneys and the liver. They're the filtration systems for you, and you must have water. The other thing is that that we don't really like to talk about a lot is how people think that having something else, I mentioned it a bit earlier, how they drink something else, it's just as good as. Now, I have read a couple reports that you can have a decaffeinated herbal tea, and that is the fluid, and the body will handle it in the same way that it handles water. That's great, but you still need clear, crisp water. Now, I'm not going to even bother talking about filtration systems. I'm not going to worry about pure water and drinking water and artesian water and all that. We're not going to talk about the kinds of water, but nonetheless, you just need to make sure that you're drinking and try to get it from a great resource. Okay. So I have a funny story to tell. How do you know how much water you've had? How do you remember that? I have a 22-ounce bottle of water and I fill it with water. I have a filtration system and I fill it with water from that. And I just count the number of times that I've refilled it, and then I empty it and then refill it again. And I'll have probably 6, maybe 7 of those in a day. I drink the majority of it a little bit earlier in the day because that's when I'm up and active, and it won't make me get up in the middle of the night. Although that's not an issue. If it does, it does. I just go right back to bed and go to sleep. Well, my mother-in-law, this is a fun kind of story. My mother-in-law was visiting, and she was doing some things around the house and helping. And I noticed that in the kitchen, she had been doing dishes, and in the kitchen, facing the kitchen sink on the left side, there were 8-ounce or 10-ounce bottles of water sitting there, filled on the counter, room temperature. She preferred her water at room temperature. So I wasn't even thinking. I wasn't even thinking. When I saw the empty bottle of water, I thought I would be helpful, and I filled it with my special filtered water unit, right? Filled it up, Best Water, it's called, Shaklee Best Water System. Filled it up and put it over with her other bottles. So she says to me about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, have you been filling up my bottles? And I said, yeah, I thought I'd help you. And I used that really nice water, the best water, the filtered stuff. She goes, oh, well, that's how I count how much water I've had. I said, oh. So she takes the water bottle. Once it's empty, she puts it on the other side of the sink. When all the full bottles are empty and they're sitting on the right side of the sink, then she knows she's had her 8 glasses or 8 servings of water in a day. So I kind of messed her up for a couple of days because she was drinking way more water than she thought she should. So that is just a kind of a fun story. But there are ways that you can track also to see how much water you've gotten. People that use apps, and when they finish their water consumption, the bottle or jug or whatever they're drinking, then they can go and sort of check it off on their app, which is a great way to do it. The only time that you have to be concerned about having too much water, the only people who have to be concerned are people who have heart disease, who are having problems with congestive heart failure. Because what happens is when there's too much water, and there can be possibly for other people too. I've not researched this, and I've not asked any of my sources, my medical sources, but that when you're drinking water, your blood volume increases. And if you have too much water, your volume can increase. And someone who is struggling with heart disease and congestive heart failure, which is fluid in the body and around the heart, it can be around the heart. So it means that the heart has to work harder to move that blood through the body. You understand? So that it's really limited. People with congestive heart failure, it is like 64 ounces, of water is good. You have to have it, but they can't have really more than that. So I know that there are people who drink a gallon of water a day. And if that works for you, great. If you don't have any kind of heart condition and that works for you, fantastic. But really caution yourself about getting overboard, because a gallon is good. More than that might not be good. And the other thing that I also heard was for every pound of body fat, that's the ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should have 200 ounces of water in a day. I say go for it the best you can. At least have the 64 ounces, and just allow your body to sort of see how you're doing. Now the hydrate is hydration for yourself is really good, and sometimes you need a little help to make things bioavailable. So I have let's see, I think it's in this drawer. I do. Here it is. This hydrate, and because it gets into the body better. Wait a minute. Let's see. Can I do that? There it is. Okay. Hydrate. And this is the newest product. The newest product line are the performance lines that athletes are using. There's the lemon lime, and then there's the orange. And the nice thing is they're in sticks. See, they're in sticks, and they are they're not sweetened with a chemical sweetener. Not the bad. It's an electrolyte blend. I'll have to read this for you. It has coconut water that it's powdered, and sodium citrate, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, organic cane sugar, citric acid, natural flavor, monk fruit, and another extract that has coconut in it. So it's a product that really immediately, if I have a problem with muscle cramping because I'm a little dehydrated, if I haven't had enough, and I drink one of these, it stops immediately with the potassium and things that are in it. It stops any kind of leg cramps. And you hear this time of year, everybody complains about, oh, I got a Charlie horse. A Charlie horse is a sign of dehydration. So try to stay with it, and specifically, or it could be the other way, that you have had too much water and you flushed all those electrolytes out of your body, which is just as dangerous as not having enough water. So have I confused you? I hope not. But what I am going to do is, if you're interested in having one and trying this is the orange flavor that I am willing to send to you. But you need to comment in the statements below, and please share with at least one person. Tag a person and say, I want this. How about you? And then that way I will send it to you. I'll get in touch with you and I'll send you one of these, so that you can test it out and hopefully realize that this is the best thing since sliced bread. Much better than some other products on the market that have too much sugar and too much sodium in them. This is just a nice scientifically blended balance. Anyway, that's Karen Sullivan, lifehealthmore.net. You will next hear from me on Monday. I'll be traveling, so I'm going to talk about road food. And in the meantime, have a very safe Memorial Day. And we remember all of our military, past and present, and the future generations too, that are interested in defending our country and helping me and you to keep our freedom. I hope that you are having a super day, and take care. Have a glass of water on me. Thanks.